Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So, Russia, or Putin, I should say, reveals harsh demands for ending the war. Yes, third round of ceasefire talks. Demands come out, but they are harsh. And will anyone listen? Well, let's discuss. Also, oil is still skyrocketing. I'm going to talk about what that means exactly and how it relates to the Fed. And I'm going to talk about, of course, Bitcoin and crypto, why they are the future. Smash up the like, subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell, and follow me on social media, and check out all the latest news, article, and guides at CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh boy, there we go. Hopefully you guys are doing better today. Of course, I already streamed. I have a lot more energy today for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, I was streaming this morning, feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good right now too. So hopefully you guys are. Well, Bitcoin, you can see in the green today, back up to about 39,000. It's a little bit higher this morning, about 39.6 or 39.4. And now it's came down a little bit. But relatively speaking, this is really good. And here's why. You look at the markets right now, they're not good. Dow was at negative 700, and NASDAQ is down. Everything is being slaughtered today, except Bitcoin. And Bitcoin and crypto is coming up. So again, it decoupled itself away from the US markets, which is really good. That's what we want to see because Bitcoin is the future. And it makes sense that it is decoupling and it stands strong, right? So I'm glad to see this. Of course, a big turn of events since last night. Since last night, things were looking very weak. U.S. markets were off, obviously. But global markets were ongoing and it was looking bad. And Bitcoin came back up slightly today, not following the same footsteps as NASDAQ and others. So that's fantastic. That's fantastic. Now, let's get to some of the stuff going on, including the harsh demands, okay, for ending the war. Oh boy, I didn't want to do that. But this was what I said. I said there's one or two things, right? High Def asks, how do you plan on safely moving your Lego sets when you move to a new home? That's a good question. I don't know. One at a time, I guess. One at a time. It's going to be very hard. And a lot of it is probably going to break. So, I don't know. I don't know. But I do need a bigger Lego room, that's for sure. But, I've been saying there's two things, right? I'll probably end the war. And one thing is to basically declare that Ukraine can never become a NATO nation. And that's exactly what was demanded. So, three things were asked, or three or four things. Number one, first of all, Ukraine halted its military activity. Obviously, the war comes to an end. That naturally occurs. Number two, and here's the kicker, to change its constitution to include neutrality so it can never join the EU or NATO. That's the big thing. That's what Russia wants. No, I take that back. That's what Putin wants. Putin wants to make sure that Ukraine never becomes part of NATO, because then there will be missiles placed in Ukraine pointing at Moscow. That's what he's afraid of. And Moscow is very close to the border of Ukraine, right? So that is what he's looking for. And then he's also some other stuff to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, becoming Russia now, and recognize independence for a couple separatist regions. And I can't pronounce those regions. But those are smaller things. The bigger thing is this. They want Ukraine to basically say they will never join the EU and NATO, right? And I don't know at this point if Ukraine will ever agree to that, but it may be something eventually. If this war does not conclude anytime soon or it gets worse, it could be something that is talked about by NATO and the US and everyone else. I don't think so, but that's definitely on the table for discussion, right? So those are things that came out, or at least the demands that came out in terms of what Putin wants. Now, of course, the second option is more sanctions, right? more and more sanctions, total economic destruction. And it's already happening, right? But the next step in terms of sanctions is to cut off oil and natural gas and wheat. Basically, a collective ban of all these exports from Russia, which will basically bring them down to zero for GDP, right? That is the next step. That is the reason why oil has started to go up once again. And you can see it's at 118. This morning it was 117, and it keeps climbing up. And there are big ramifications when it comes to oil prices going up. So many think that's going to come next, right? That U.S. and everyone else is going to start banning oil, and then that's going to cause total financial meltdown for Russia and Russian citizens and companies, and eventually leading up to Putin. But it's going to also have a lot of major ramifications for countries that really depend on that oil and natural gas and wheat from Russia. So that's coming up. That is probably next step before Ukraine declares that they're not going to join NATO, right? So those are two things. So it's coming. Interesting enough, right now, as I'm streaming, Kevin O'Leary is on Kevin's show. So I was kind of watching bits and pieces of that before streaming. And Kevin, they're both Kevins. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, was saying, he's making an interesting comment that not only are the oligarchs suffering, but the military and generals are suffering. A lot of them, right, are now forced with their bank accounts and money being cut off. A lot of them may not want to be in this war, right? And not only do they face possible prosecution afterwards as war criminals, right? But they also have no money. So they may be turning on Putin soon too. So oligarchs and military generals and, the citizens of Russia who are feeling the effects the most, they're probably going to turn, right? So maybe there is a third option where basically everyone forces Putin to back off or remove him from power. That could be a third scenario, right? It seems like unlikely, but it could be leading up to that. And that's what the West is really hoping for with all these sanctions. Because you're really just taking a first world country and you're cutting them off and making them into a third world country. So that's essentially what the West is trying to do, right? And we'll see. We'll see. All right. Now, how does this relate with rising oil prices, right, to $118 a barrel? How does it relate to the Fed decision? Well, everything is going up, due to inflation, and oil is going to make things worse. So take a look at this headline. Home prices reached 34-year record. I mean, this is something I expected to come down, but it has not. Home prices continue to go up and up and up and up and up. In America, the average mortgage, average 30-year mortgage is $450,000. I mean, that's insane for an average home price, right? And I've known people, one of my best friends, he bought his home a year ago or 2 years ago for 200 something thousand. He sold it for 400 something thousand. I mean, it's insane, right? So obviously home prices are going up, probably continue to go up. And if you look at CPI is made up of these 8 major groups. Housing, which is one of them, and it continues to go up. Food and beverage, right? Medical, recreation, others, education, transportation. Guess what? Apparel. All these things will go up with higher oil. Oil price going up, transportation, flights, gasolines going up through the roof, right? Manufacturers that depend on oil to produce things, well, those are going to get more expensive. Apparel being one of them, recreation, other goods and services, right? They're going to go up. Medical supplies probably going to go up too. Same thing with food and beverage. A lot of them require oil, right? Not crude oil, but cooking oil and stuff, and of course comes with oil. So as oil goes up, all of these categories will go up too. And that's a problem because CPI is made up of all these things. and CPI is already high. And it's estimated, and I don't know how this is calculated, but if oil goes to $150 a barrel, that means the CPI numbers will go up by 2%. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, so why that is relevant is because CPI number comes out this Thursday. In a couple of days, we will have CPI, and I don't know if we're going to see a huge jump because of oil already. It's only been a few weeks, so probably not, but maybe so. CPI was at 7.5%, measuring inflation, and it's estimated to go up to 7.8%. But if that goes up to 8%, 9%, 10%, right, that's very, very bad. And what's also bad is economy is slowing down, right? Earnings is starting to taper off because the rates are going to go up, so people are borrowing less, right? And you have a lot of people that are now just trying to save money, and especially if they have to pay more for food and gasoline, well, they have less in their bank to be able to pay for things, so they're going to spend less, right? They're going to travel less. So bottom line is we're going to have very high inflation, yet economic economic spending will be less. And that's exactly the type of situation you don't want to be in. You don't want that to happen, right? So this is also important because this will determine what Fed Chair Powell is going to do starting with March and everything else that follows. Right? In March, he already stated it's going to be 25 basis points. Not a big deal. But what about April? What about May and June, July? And as CPI and oil price keeps going up, how is he going to adjust? That's going to be the big question mark, and no one knows. So, again, this is going to affect the markets in a big way. Of course, the U.S. markets, of course, NASDAQ. There's a lot of Wall Street guys still trying to sell off their risk-on assets. Well, they've been going on and off. They've been selling off tech, and then they're buying back tech, and then they're selling off tech, buying back tech. I mean, it's been like that for months now, right? And a lot of them are also treating crypto the same way. They're buying Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana, and others, and then they're selling it off, and then they're buying back in and selling it off, right? They don't know how to decide, and that's the reality of the situation right now, right? So a lot of uncertainty at this point. Still a lot of uncertainty. Hopefully we get past this very first FOMC meeting, and we'll see. And hopefully it brings a little clarity for the remainder of the year. But now with oil prices going up, and who knows how high it's going to go. It's estimated to go at least 150. What if it goes up to 175 a barrel or $200 a barrel, right? That would be, I don't know what's going to happen. That's going to bring so much inflation and hike prices up so much. It's going to bring a lot of devastation. And is that going to make Powell be more aggressive with his rate hike? Possibly being a lot more aggressive, but will that bring the U.S. into recession then because of it? Because if economic spending activity goes down, well, you get my picture, right? You get my picture. It's all connected. It's all connected. All right, but how does this connect to Bitcoin and crypto? Why is Bitcoin the future, right? Because keep in mind, I've been picking my words carefully. When I talk about Wall Street, I talk about traders. Traders are the ones that are panicking. They're indecisive. They don't know what to do, right? Am I buying? Am I selling? Am I buying again? Am I selling, right? There's a lot of traders out there that's trying to anticipate what's going to come. And right now, you just can't. With all this uncertainty, how can you anticipate anything, right? But that's exactly what's happening, right? That's why you see one day, things are green. Next day, things are deep in a red. And the next day, things are in green again, right? But I am an investor. Many of you guys are investors, right? And as long-term investors, the answer is clear. The answer is clear. With all this that's going on, Bitcoin is the solution. Crypto is a solution. Decentralized payments are a solution. Decentralized networks are a solution. Web 3.0 is the solution. It's all the solution, right? But we have to get through this because unfortunately there are people that don't see these things as solutions. They see it just as a trade. They see it as a risk on asset. They see it as a tech stock. And none of these things are right. Bitcoin and crypto is way more than that. Way more than all these things. It's poised to replace all the centralized things that we use every single day, right? So as long-term holders, we got to take advantage. While people are panicking, what we're doing is staying calm, we're staying patient, and we're buying the dips. Just this morning, I talked about Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says he never keeps any cash during wars. And the reason being, because the dollar devalues itself and because people panics. And that is when you want to pounce on things that you love, right? For him, back in the day, credit card companies, banks, railroad companies. But he also finally pounced on Apple, and that made him billions upon billions, right? But he buys when other people are fearful. So as investors, that's what we got to do. And that is exactly what investors are doing. I mean, take a look at this. There are now 40 million addresses holding Bitcoin. That number has grown so much within the last few years alone. And this number is not going down. It continues to go up because long-term investors know Bitcoin is the way, right? So they're not selling off. And new people that are coming in, they realize this too. I mean, we have seen so many cases over the last few weeks. From, of course, what's going on right now with Ukraine and Russia. Also, we saw it firsthand with Canada too, and what that could have led to. And many other areas around the world also seeing the same thing, just not being in the spotlight, right? There's plenty of countries out there that has their fiat devaluing in front of their eyes because of hyperinflation. They're also turning to Bitcoin. There's just a lot of things going on, and Bitcoin is a solution. Anyways, so Bitcoin holders continue to grow and grow and grow. Adoption, if you look at the internet versus crypto, it's neck and neck right now, following exactly the same way. It took some time before the internet got big, okay? It took a while. And it's the same thing. If you argue with Bitcoin and crypto, right? Mostly, you got to realize most of this time is just the Bitcoin coming to be, right? But if you look at crypto adoption outside of Bitcoin, it's growing like this, like going up to the moon. Because most of that came in literally 1 year in 2021, right? So this is just really measuring Bitcoin. But if you're looking at crypto adoption outside of Bitcoin, it's going up straight up, right? But point is this, we are still early. No one back in 1990 knew what 2021 or 2022 was going to look like, right? And it's the same thing. In 2022, we may think we have a good picture of what 2032 looks like, right? But we really don't. And that is why we are still early and why we want to be in early. What else is there? Citadel is starting to make moves, even though I'm not a big fan of Citadel. But they are one of the bigger hedge funds out there. And Ken Griffin was a big naysayer of Bitcoin and crypto. And now he says, well, I'm wrong about that. We're going to start making big moves into crypto. Right? So is this legit? Has he really opened himself up to crypto? Or is this like a trap? It's like, you know, they say one thing and do another, right? Hopefully it's not that. Hopefully he has seen the light and he is going to get involved with crypto. So we'll see that. We'll see, I guess. FTX is still expanding. FTX Europe launches in Switzerland, emphasizing regulatory compliance, but FTX is growing everywhere. Obviously, trying to make a big impact in the US, but also worldwide, and now in Europe. And there are a lot of a lot more scrutiny these days. So they are trying to be as compliant as possible, right? And in the U.S., we're still waiting for the executive order to kind of really look at crypto as a whole. But of course, that's put on the back burner now because of what's going on overseas, right? So there you go. What else is there? For music fans, Tezos. Tezos is going to be partnering up, well, at least a project on Tezos partnering up with the Grammys. I don't know anyone that still watches Grammys. Maybe you guys do. I don't know. I don't watch any of the award shows. But anyways, they're going to come out with their own NFTs. And this is going to be residing on Tezos. Tezos does have a pretty large NFT base, right? So that's coming. Of course, Snoop Dogg is still releasing albums. And he's doing something interesting with his records. So he has all these NFTs, right? And every single one has like snippets of some of his songs. And then in the description, it says, for first time ever, own a Snoop Dogg song. First step in the future of music. And then he says, own it, remix it, and master it. So it seems like whatever he's selling with whatever song, you actually get to own it. You own the rights to it. He can't sue you afterwards. And you can remix it and master and do whatever you want with it. See, this is what I've been saying. It's like right now, you get NFT collections, right? And you don't really own anything. But now, that's where the industry is going to, right? You actually own something. Just like NBA Top Shots. I made this example. NBA Top Shots sell you clips of a dunk or a three-point shot or something like that. Imagine if you could actually own it. And then you could actually license it out and actually make real money with it. That would be a game changer. And it does seem like that's what Snoop Dogg is trying to do. It's interesting. I mean, this is why I think NFTs are still so early. You just don't know what's coming. There's so much that could be built on top of this. It's really mind-boggling. So there you go. Bitcoin came down a little bit. It was trying to come back up to 39. It fell down a little bit, probably because markets, has gotten worse. Negative 622. Sell-off continues. Unfortunately, it's just not a good situation right now. 1.7 million refugees have fled out of Ukraine. Oil is at a 13-year high, right? NATO, how will they react? How will the U.S. react? We don't know. We don't know at this point. And with oil prices going up, everything gets more expensive, right? So again, a lot of uncertainty at this point. But we will get through it. As Bitcoin holders, as crypto holders, as long-term investors, we will get through it. Just don't try to be a trader. Try to be a trader, you'll get wrecked. You try to be an investor and you stick through it long haul, you'll be just fine. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. Chef Raph, hope you're doing well, stacking cash, getting ready for DCA. Hope you're doing well. I'm always doing well, and I'm glad to hear that. You have to have a cash position right now. You have to, so that you can continue to DCA, right? And so that you can buy the dips. I think it's important. Some people say, well, I don't have any cash, I'm all in. Well, okay, then you just keep holding. But for everyone else that can, get a side hustle, get a side job, or do a little more, right? Sell a little stuff on eBay or sell an NFT, right? Getting cash, holding that, right, will definitely be beneficial because there will be more volatility. We're not going to get through all the volatility until the war ends and until we get clarity on what Chair Powell says. My money is in gas and oil ETFs. Well, that's probably a good short-term bet. I bet they're all going up. they're all going up, but you know, it may come crashing down right away. You just don't know. You just don't know, because what if Putin declares, okay, we're going to close the war, we're going to stop the war. Immediately, oil prices will drop, right? So, what's the best crypto project involved with Web 3.0? All of them that I've been talking about. I mean, Web 3.0 is very vast. NFTs, DeFi, lending, staking. You know, they're all part of it. And the projects that I've been talking about a lot, of course, Ethereum, Terra, Cardano. Cardano's just getting started. Solana, Avalanche. You know, these are the ones I've been talking about. Polygon, Cosmos. Is Bukele still buying? I haven't heard of him buying recently, but he was buying quite a lot. I don't know what happened there. But he's getting ready to issue volcanic bonds, and supposedly the interest is really, really high. Really high. Diamond Sauce says, I don't watch TV at all. Well, good for you. Sometimes I still do, but very rarely. Very rarely. Let's see. Okay. I like George at 2x. Some people have said watching me at 1.5 or 1.7x has been very entertaining. So 2x seems to be, it could be. I don't know. I've never watched myself at those speeds. George, you're famous here in the Netherlands. Well, I'm glad to hear that. People tell me I'm famous around the world. I don't know if that's actually true, but I wish to visit all these countries in the future. Potential on FUD arising with the whole ETH and Russian link. I don't know of any link other than Vitalik is Russian, but he moved to Canada when he was very small, so he's not even, you know, a true Russian. I don't know what other FUD there is. Just because, you know, here's the thing. Just because a company is created by a Russian doesn't mean that they're evil all of a sudden. This war is Putin. This is Putin's war. This is not Russia's war. Most citizens in Russia do not want this. There's a lot of reports about Russian soldiers, young Russian soldiers that don't know what the hell's going on because they were led to believe one thing and now they're seeing a different light, and a lot of them don't want to be in there, right? So this is not, I don't blame Russia. I blame Putin for what's going on. So yeah, anyways, I don't know what that has to do with ETH and Russian Link. A lot of projects are created by Russians. Chainlink is created by Russians. Gold is up 0.79%. That's big money right there. I don't have a big car collection. I hope to, but I don't like to buy anything when it's overvalued. I don't like to pay over MSRP, and plus it's impossible to get them. So eventually, not right now. Health, wealth, and crypto. What's your play-by-play on how they transition us to a digital system, and when do you think that will happen? You know, in the U.S., it's going to be harder because there's still people that use checks. And I know a lot of you guys watching will say, oh, yeah, I still use check. Well, that's why it's harder. Transitioning to a digital system is actually quite easy. There's a lot of people that already use Apple Pay, you know, Google Pay on your phone. right? It'll just be a matter of downloading a wallet and utilizing that to pay for things. So if there's a digital USD, that's how it's gonna be done. In all the supermarkets and everywhere, Targets and Walmarts, they'll have a system where you just scan your phone and that's it. But you'll always have people that want to pay with check or pay with cash, and that's gonna like delay things. But yeah. Joe, Chili's, Hedera, Cartesian Cosmos, the Uniswap. Done my research, going hard and on one. What do you think? Okay, well, if you've done your research and going hard on one, I don't know, first of all, which one. And second of all, if you've done your research, then great. Then you should know which one you like. I don't know which one you like. Christina, no, I'm never going to reveal that. So you don't need to ask and say just curious because you're never going to know. Do I own physical gold? No, not 1 ounce. Well, maybe in my watches. No, even then, I don't think it's 1 ounce of gold. I am not cranky. I'm actually in a pretty good mood. It's just that it's hard to be in a good mood when you have so many people writing really stupid things in the live chat. Sometimes I love live chat, and sometimes I really hate it. There's just too many people with too many opinions spreading FUD, just like how all these people were saying, yeah, Russia was never going to invade Ukraine. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They have 100,000 troops at the border just for the hell of it because they always do, and this and that. And, oh, don't listen to Western propaganda. Don't listen to CNN. Don't listen to Biden. They're all telling you false news. And guess what happened? It happened. It all happened. And those people have disappeared. So, it sometimes it just sucks because people just like to spread FUD and they don't know what the hell they're doing, or they're doing it on purpose. And it's just aggravating. Am I from the US? Yes. Let's see. You have to love live chat? No. I don't. I want to, but sometimes it's hard to. How's my Litecoin? In the shitter. Do you believe we'll see 20K BTC? No, I don't see it. It could happen, but I just don't see it. Bitcoin has been very, very strong in the 30s. So I just don't see us falling to 20K unless there's fears of World War III actually starting. When there's true panic, sure, everything can fall down really quickly. But yeah. Why does everything cost more in life now except crypto? Because you're too new. That's why. If you were around in 2020, which was only 2 years ago, Bitcoin was below $4,000. So it's approximately 10 times more expensive. So again, you're probably just too new. Let's see. When am I going on Yahoo Finance? They asked me a while ago, and then it was, every time they ask me, it's like for like a short filler or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, it's not worth my time. I'd rather do a longer piece or something about something meaningful. And they're always like last minute. They want me to go on Friday, and they'll shoot me an email like Friday morning or something. I'm like, forget it. Ravencoin, nah, not a fan. It's a project that helps you create security tokens, and that's not what you want right now. Thoughts about the Six Rings NFTs by Michael Jordan? I've not paid close attention to it. I know they've come out with their store. It's for athletes, to kind of create NFTs for their fans, but he did release his 6. I don't know what I think about it. I think it could do well. I think overall the project could do well. I mean, just the fact that he has name recognition will carry very far. What else? What do you think will happen again if Anchor reserves are depleted? They're just going to add more. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think Terra USD can eventually be worldwide USD? No. I don't think that. But I do think they could become one of the main stablecoins out there. It's the only one that's backed by Bitcoin. You think about that. You think about how silly that is. That all the other stablecoins are backed by something that we're trying to replace, which is fiat. But Terra USD is the only one that's backed by Bitcoin. But it's not fully backed by Bitcoin. It's partially. But eventually it could, especially as Bitcoin goes up in value. And they plan on adding more Bitcoin. So maybe over time, but not right now. I wonder where Nike would be without Jordan. That would be an interesting question. And I don't know how, maybe I do know, right? When Jordan was playing, and the shoes that he actually wore, in my opinion, they're like the best sneakers. Because since then, I don't know what Nike has been doing, but all these new sneakers are god-awful ugly. I don't know what it is. The LeBrons, the Kyries, the Durants, or whatever else, they're all ugly as hell. I don't know. It seems like all the designers, they all worked on the Jordans and then they ran out of ideas or something. I don't know what happened, but man, I just thought I'd point that out there. Like the bronze shoes are so ugly, so ugly. In my opinion, Jordan 12s. I think Jordan 12s and 11s are the best looking. I think 12s are best looking in my opinion. I think 11s is second best. Anyways. No, I'm not just getting too old for them. They're just ugly. They don't have that classic look. I mean, you can't tell me you put like a Jordan 12 next to a new LeBron 12 or 15 or whatever it is. It's just, there's no comparison. I haven't seen Trae Young's shoes, so I don't know. Let's see. I used to ball a lot, but because of my knee injury, I can't do a whole lot. I still shoot around just because I enjoy it. Put on the music and just shoot around. How high of a price do you think Luna will reach? Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about how high it'll reach. Just know that it's going to go higher. Have you seen that new electric car? Which one? Thoughts on Shiba? I like Shiba a lot better than Doge. Okay, I'll just put it that way. I like the direction they're going. They're trying to make themselves into a legit project, and I like them a lot more than Doge. Not quite there yet, but they could if they keep going. Do you think MJ holds crypto? I think every rich person secretly owns some crypto. At least some Bitcoin. There's no reason why they wouldn't. I mean, honestly, at this point, I think every rich person owns a little bit. They may not admit it, but yes, I do think they do. Including Jordan. Why did you not buy a Tesla stuff, Ferrari? I did. I own a Tesla Model S Plaid already. If you go on my channel, Drivers Only, you'll see I reviewed it already twice. I do own it. But like I said yesterday, driving a Tesla is like driving a emotionless robot. It's not enjoyable. Driving an EV car will never replace the thrill of a V8 rumble or a loud exhaust noise. It'll never replace that. So did I buy any cards lately? No. Actually, I was going to, but I don't like to buy things when they're up. So unfortunately, what's happening right now when it comes to investments is that stocks and crypto, because of how liquid they are, they go up and down really fast. So you do have opportunity to get in when there's volatility. But like when it comes to like sports cards, for example, or cars, for example, or real estate, they're not moving. They went high, or watches. They went high and they stayed. They're not coming down, and that's what's frustrating, right? So with all these other kind of investments, they're not moving. They're still sky high, and I don't want to get in that top. But with everything else, like crypto and stocks, they're down, and good opportunity. Can you wish my dad Joe a happy birthday? Happy birthday, Joe. All right, guys. I'm going to let you guys go. Sandbox video was hilarious. Why? I thought it was pretty cool. Polestar 2. Yeah, that's Polestar 2 is just like dead already. Anything that, if they don't have like some kind of traction already, they're pretty much dead. Polestar 2 is not going to do anything. But they do own Vauld though, so that will probably carry them for a while. All right, guys, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. In the meantime, we'll see where Bitcoin goes and where crypto goes, but there are a lot of uneasiness right now. Markets are still doing very poorly, but maybe things turn around and we'll go from there. So make sure you hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, take care, guys. Bye-bye.